Hey everybody, this is week two. Before I get into everything, I just wanted to go over some general stuff we talked about last time, things that people are still not doing. Um, and I'm not it's not because I'm a control freak, which yeah I am, but that's still got nothing to do with it, that I am making these demands. And yes, they are demands. Certain things will be suggestions, but a lot of them are just straight up demands. And I expect them to be done because you care about what you're doing. There's nothing that I'm asking of you that isn't going to make your work significantly stronger. And that's what I want for all of us. One thing that we're all doing pretty bad in is presentation. Um, these grids kind of, the visual grid, how it's set up, of whatever we're doing, this is pretty much going to be the opening every time. Because I'd like to see that we get stronger in using the page and, our line work and everything like that. This is the easiest way to see it. Also ignore this stuff that's on there. That's for something else. I just didn't want to waste ink printing it again. And spend the time to go over the lines. That's kind of getting to be a big deal. This is the second time that I've had to take the graphite crayon and go over someone's lines just so it can be visible. I could barely see these with my own eyes, let alone having it reproduce on the camera. You really, we all really need to make sure that we are drawing lines that are dark enough to be seen. There is no point in having light lines that nobody's going to see. You might as well just be looking at a blank page. So, what I would say is for the people using graphite, which if you're using graphite, I'm vetoing anything under 4B for your final lines. You could use a harder pen, which we'll talk about the pencil lead later, but you can use less than that to put in your initial lines that are nice and light that you can change. But for your final lines, I don't want to see anything less than a 4B. Which is why I keep saying black color pencil over and over and over, because the black color pencil is going to give you, it allows you to work light. In fact, you can see this is not the first take. The cat actually messed up the first one. It allows you to draw nice and light and to put in a darker line. So, and it's nice and smooth because there's wax. The point lasts longer, which that's something I'll talk about later. The length of the point, but you want to have a nice visible line. Mechanical pencils vetoed. The lines are way too thin, and it's too easy to get that wobbly, inconsistent line with such a thin lead. If you really don't like wooden pencils, and that's why a lot of people use mechanical pencils, then this thing, a lead holder, it uses two millimeter leads, so they're nice and thick. There is a lead sharpener that you can use to sharpen it, but I actually keep mine pretty blunt because I want a nice thick line. When you use lines that are too thin at this stage, where you're just kind of sketching it in there, and it's not your final lines, you tend to get into details a little more than you need to. So I prefer to use a nice thick lead because that lets me keep everything big and keep everything simple in general, and I can tighten it up later. And this is actually also a 4B lead, so I can do the lighter lines and I can go in there with the darker line. Uh, what else is vetoed? Sketchbooks. Um, Loose paper only. For your dailies, yes, you can definitely keep a sketchbook of that. Having a sketchbook is really important. We all need to keep a sketchbook, but do that on your time, not mine. The problem with using the sketchbook is sketchbooks tend to be held in one way. People hold them, up down portrait. But if you're doing something that's not portrait, most people don't bother turning it around. Also, the spirals look like ass. And if you're not using a spiral one, you mess up the sheets when you flip them over, when you put it behind the next one. So it's really all pointless. Just use the loose paper. And also, loose paper is a hell of a lot cheaper than buying the sketchbooks. I would say get a little tiny sketchbook, very tiny, a pocket size, and keep that with you. So anytime your hands are free and you've got something to sketch with, that lets you have something to sketch on. Sketch every chance you get. I never really used to do that, and my progress was a hell of a lot slower. And you get a lot more creative when you actually flex those muscles to and you use your brain when you're just doing you're on the line at the market, or you're waiting, you're on hold for something. I don't know, any customer service thing, you'll be on hold, waiting for the bus, whatever. um and yeah, you can go and do a lot of people, like, if you're waiting for the train, or do sketches of people as they walk by and they do whatever. Yeah, but when you don't have people, sketch shapes. Sketch the things that you're gonna drill, which will actually, I'm teasing, we're gonna go over a lot of stuff like that. Do those things so you can tighten everything up. But we'll get more into drilling later. I know it's going to be a difficult transition for people to actually make time to draw. But if you actually care about what you're doing, that's exactly what you'll do. More on the dark lines, like I said, I'm going to sing it one more time. Black color pencil. Or you can use 4B lead. For the next couple weeks, though, we're going to be using a Sharpie for our final lines. Normal Sharpie, not one of the thin ones. I don't have a black one here. I don't know what happened to it, but, the normal Sharpie. I will actually be using a big-ass Sharpie. So, because I want to challenge myself to make really clean, precise lines, even though I have this big, thick thing that I got to use. So, this will ensure that your lines are nice and bold. And you know what? Your line work says a lot about you as an artist. You don't want to have unsure, sketchy lines where, especially on stuff like this, you don't want to have it, because it says that you don't know what you're doing, and you know that you don't know what you're doing, or you think you don't know what you're doing. You don't trust yourself. So why would anybody want to trust you? You have to trust yourself. Just do it. Keep everything nice and loose. If it looks bad, it looks bad. Who cares? It's just a mark on a piece of paper anyway. And no one image that you do is really worth more than a mark on a paper. It's the progression and the entirety of your work that matters. So, don't let anything be too valuable. It's just, and that's also part of another reason. That's why I want stuff emailed, because I want these to be anonymous. These, I guess we all see each other do it in the thread. These are fine, whatever. But the actual quizzes, I want them. Well, I want also people not to look at other people's quizzes, but I want, when we go over it, that it's completely anonymous, so we can all learn to be objective. Because if you don't know who did it, you can't be afraid of offending that person. I mean, you don't want to be a dick, but you want to be completely honest and frank about what you're observing. I really recommend ignoring anybody who tells you that you need to sandwich telling somebody that something is bad between two nice things that you might not even think. There's a lot of times I see something where there is nothing nice about it, and I'm gonna tell you exactly that. Um, yeah, things, if they're good, tell them they're good, but if it's all bad, tell them it's all bad. We're actually going to talk about critique and training your eyes later, so I don't want to spend any time on that. It's already been 10 minutes. So yeah, dark lines, page orientation, uh, the Sharpies, be careful. They will bleed, which is why I was suggesting the clipboard. Now I'm going to tell you just use a clipboard because you can clip the loose paper on there, but also and I recommend this kind, not the plastic ones, because if your Sharpie really bleeds, that plastic it can't soak in, and that's going to be all over everything. You want to get this that'll soak it in case you're on the last page. And also, I actually have more than one. I have two of these. One for when I'm working with ink or Sharpies or anything that has the possibility of bleeding, because I don't want to waste paper with bleed. I only put the one sheet back there, or maybe like a sheet of newsprint or something behind it, or a page from a magazine or something that you don't care about. Because I want my paper to be used for drawing, not for soaking in ink. But yeah, just be careful. Don't put it down on your white desk or, on your mom's glass table or whatever with this Sharpie. You will not be pleased. What else do I have here? Oh, yeah. Holding your pencil. I see that a lot of people, and once again, ignore the marks on this one, are, I don't know if you could see that too well. The lines, they're dark, but they're not dark for the right reason. They're dark because this person is holding their pencil the way they would to write, which don't do that. You're not writing, you're drawing, so you don't hold your pencil like you're writing. Just like it's very difficult, and it makes it more difficult to draw. It's very difficult to write if you hold the pencil like you're gonna draw. It doesn't work out. But yeah, that pins the lead into the paper. So if you did need to make a change, it's too late. It's done. And you end up doing sketchy lines all the time because you might have this problem. So yeah, um, because I learned with charcoal, I am oft to hold it like this, where it's literally set up so I can smoothly go over uh, and have optimal control where if I just need to do, I'm at a bad angle, by the way. I don't want to cross in front of the camera. Uh, if I just wanted to, this is how most people hold a pencil. You just want to put that line in, and they're not, like I said, I'm at a very bad angle for this. Normally, I would only draw my lines away from me, but, like I said, yeah, it's not working out. So yeah, sketching anytime, especially like sketching people or whatever, you can kind of sculpt it, and the lines stay nice and light because you're holding so far back. And also, you'll notice my wrist and my fingers are not moving. I am actually moving my entire arm from the elbow. If I do a round shape, I'm moving it from my shoulder. Uh, a large shape, going around, I use it from my shoulder. Otherwise, even from the elbow, you want to, anything smooth, try to do it from your shoulder. If it's a straight line, you can do it from your elbow. Don't move your fingers because, as I said in the last video, you get that curve, but not a controlled curve. I had a really great professor that told me, and this is how he taught me how to hold the pencil, because I actually only learned how to hold the pencil properly maybe in last October. He said to hold your hand out and splay your fingers and try to move each of your fingers without moving any of your other fingers at all. That will show you exactly the range of motion your finger has, And so you'll see how tight and why your drawings are so tight and so pinned in when you draw with your fingers or from, from your wrist. Uh, I think that's it for this one. So yeah, practice holding your pencil. If you need, you guys want a demonstration, like a more in-depth thing about how to hold the pencil, yeah, I can try and do that. I'll figure something out for you. Um, but yes, let's press on.